The EAssist Dental Solutions podcast. We are the nation's leader in outsourced dental billing. Our clients require highly skilled dental office managers that can consult with client offices.
Welcome to the EAssist Dental Solutions podcast. My name is Andres Quintana. I am your host for the first ever EAssist Dental Solutions podcast. And EAssist, we are the nation's leader of outsourced dental billing. And I am so excited today. This is not only is it the first ever podcast for our company, but also I'm just excited because I have just a special guest. Her name is Lorena Puga, and she is a billing specialist. And I'm not going to say too much because I want Lorena to really tell you her story. But all I can say is that she is a wonderful person and a great professional. And we're going to get on and talk to her on this show and really bring her to light about what makes the company and Lorena so great. So the most amazing thing that I have to tell you about EAssist is that I am so happy to see that dentists can actually concentrate on their treatment to make sure, no cancer screening, slips by and other important treatment that they may have to do in their office because of the overwhelming task of the dental practice itself. Just a little bit about me, because this is the first ever episode. Andre Quintana, everybody knows me as Andre, and public speaking was not something that I thought I would do. But here I have a podcast, and the reason I say that is anybody can do this, and we hope that you would come on our show and be a guest. English is not my first language. I came from Cuba when I was 10 years old and didn't speak perfect English until I was about 18 years old. But I came in 1980. Thank God that we are in this great country to be able to do the great things that we're doing. And with that, I know you're going to get to know me a little bit better, but this is now about Lorena and about this program that is going to tell so many great stories along the way. And we hope that you can join us every other week. So thank you so much. At this time, I just want to introduce Lorena one more time. Lorena, how are you today?
Hi, Andre. I'm doing just great and glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, this is a pleasure for me because I'm going to say that, the dental office that I work for, okay, this is probably the only client I would talk about. Okay, because it happens to be Dr. Jane Quintana, which is, she is my wife, and we've been married for, it's going to be 18 years. We've known each other for 22 years, and she is an EAssist client. And I'm so happy because things have gone so great, and I can see the beauty in everything that the company does. But I just wanted to let people know that you are very involved with that office. And I just want to first let people know because I am so happy, and I'll repeat it 1,000 times if you let me. But first off, I just want to know how you got into dentistry.
Well, first, let me tell you that I am very, very happy to be part of your team, part of your office. Your office staff is wonderful. Dr. Quintana is just great. I really enjoy working with them. I really enjoy working with your office, and I've seen a lot of things have changed to the better. And as far as clinical notes and all that, I mean, everything is just going so well. I don't have to search around too much for any information that I need to submit your claims and everything. So things are running smoothly for your office, and everything is looking good.
That's great. That's great. And as far as I want to know also about your experience, because one of the things that I think is great is that when we handed all the claims to you, from the moment you took it over, I felt this sense of peace. Okay. And that comes with experience. How long ago did you get into dentistry?
Well, Andre, my story it's I don't know if it's you can call it weird or it's definitely different. I would call it weird. But my first employment was right after high school. I started working for this dental office. My plan was to work for a year or so, save enough money for college, and then just try to see what other things I can come up with and, to try to make a better future for myself. So this office was a small 2-operatory office, and I was basically wearing several hats. I was working the front. I was working the clinical part of it. It was only one dentist, no hygienist. He was doing all his hygiene and everything. So about a month into my employment with this dentist, my boss and I got a visitor. This visitor, he introduced himself as a homicide detective. He gave us a story about this case. They had found some human remains. Basically, it was just, I don't know, I don't want to be too explicit because I don't want to freak people out. It was a mandible. It was just the jaw, and they found some human remains, pieces of bone and things like that, and they determined it was human bone. So he was there because he called it John Doe. He wanted to know, he had a name. He had a couple of families came forward questioning it, asking because they had family members that were missing. So he had a name, and he just wanted to confirm that. One of the families had given him the office's information, and that's why he was there. So he didn't want to be very graphic about it, so he just gave us the name of this John Doe, and he was looking for dental records. Then after that, the doctor I was working for, he knew pretty much everybody. He knew all his patients because it was a small practice. So the name didn't ring the bell. So we had to search through our archived files, and we found the name. We pulled out the patient's records, and we determined it was the detective took the paperwork. And then after their research, he called us back and said, it's a match. At that point, that felt so, I don't know if it's wrong to say, but here's a person that's deceased and the family's looking for this person. But it felt so exciting because the detective basically said, you just helped me solve a case. And it just felt so exciting to me. So that's what I shoot it for. I wanted to be a forensic dentist. So that's what I was going to go back to college for. And then as I kept working for this dentist, he was wonderful. My first employment with him in the dental field, he was great. I learned a lot from him. And then as the years went by, I started realizing I think I want to deal with live people more than deceased, because I enjoyed working with people and I enjoyed their company. I enjoyed the fact that, they came in very apprehensive, and then after a couple of visits, they would come in asking for me. They knew me by name and everything, and they would ask for me, and they would feel comfortable in the dental chair. So that was rewarding, and that's what kept me going. And I went back to college. I went back for like a year and a half or so, and just couldn't afford it. So I had to go back to work, and I just stayed in the dental field.
Yeah.
And I've been dental assistant or in front office. I've done it all. Office manager for over 23 years now.
Oh my. But that tells me a lot. That story tells me that you love finding things that are hard to find. That's a really good story, Lorena, because that would make any dentist and their staff and their team feel really good and confident that you will go to the deepest areas to find out why some claims aren't getting paid and things like that. I do want to shift a little bit because before I ask you, that was a question about how you got into it, but I want to see if you could share a story about what EAssist Dental Solutions has done for your life.
EAssist has changed my life a lot. I don't feel as my days being as hectic. Andre, I'm an ultra marathoner, they call it. I love to run. I run everywhere. And I bike ride sometimes. I haven't done it in a while now. Shame on me, but I love to run. And going physically to work was just not, it didn't give me enough time in the day to train because I run up to 50 kilometers. I sign up for races for 50 milers, 100Ks, things like that. So going to an office, physically working your regular 8-hour day didn't give me enough time to train. So what I did is I started searching for online work since I knew there was like medical billing that you could do from home. I thought there's got to be something for dental. So I started searching around and I found EAssist. And I applied, and after 3 months, it took me about 3 months to go through all the training and all that. I was hired, and then I was assigned my first office, and oh my gosh, it was like a dream come true.
Oh, that is wonderful because, that just, things come full circle, and there's a reason why you and I work together, and it's just wonderful to hear, and that's good because I can relate to that. I was a track star in high school, but let's just say the type of running that you do makes my running appear as child's play. Let's just say that.
No, not at all.
And 800 meters was my longest race. I was a sprinter. I want to know because the dental billing is very complicated. You have an amazing understanding of the dental third-party billing requirements. How did you achieve that knowledge?
Well, as you know, I have worked in the field for many, many years, front office, clinical, and you pick up a lot of things here and there, such as insurance guidelines, rules, etc. I have taken many courses as well, and the courses, involving claim submission and the dental medical cross-coding and things like that. I tend to read upon the toolkits from the various insurance websites. For instance, instructions on what to submit with claims for the different dental plans out there. This information is provided to us dental professionals, through the insurance websites. Mm-hmm. I read up on the guidelines, instructions on how to submit the claims, the different CDT codes, and what is required to submit the claims, such as attachments, narratives, images, pre-op x-rays, and post-ops. All this, it's provided to us, and there is so much information out there, Andre. You just need to know where to go to look for it. And I have also taken some courses, continuing education courses. I take their webinars, things to keep me updated with the new things coming out.
I think you're right because Dr. Quintana, for example, I did a lot of research while I was learning how to work in her office because I come from an eye care background. So I decided to be a dental consultant and a coach, and I found a home in my wife's office, and she couldn't figure out where I was getting all this knowledge from. Well, I did a lot of research that you're absolutely right. There's so much research to do out there, so much available out there at our fingertips. This is great. You and I have a lot in common too, because we both we're immigrants and we had to overcome certain things. I think this next question is going to explain that a little bit because the service of dental billing and collections, and it involves utilizing a very complex billing system like these dental office softwares. And I think that having that, that strength of having to overcome a lot of things, like, different language and things like that, plays a role in that. How have you managed to achieve the success that you have had in that area? And am I right about that? Because I've had to do a lot of multitasking, and sometimes I look back at my history, and I think trying to overcome things is something that I've always done. What do you think of that?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And yeah, it is complex to a point. I mean, it gets easier as you learn how to use the system and how to work around it. I can tell you it was not easy when I first started, but I have become more proficient than I had ever imagined. There were some basic computer things that I needed to know right away when I first started with EAssist that I would just Google and basically train myself to do any basic steps such as uploading, downloading, transferring files and documents from one workstation to the other. EAssist has a wonderful IT group of people, Angel, Tammy, JC, the two JCs, and a technical support team as well that have been our shining light whenever we have any complicated technical issues. So I cannot take any credit for any technical knowledge since they are the ones who have guided us and have taught us how to deal with these issues if we ever come up with or encounter any technical issues. I have learned so much from them, and we are all grateful to have them around.
I agree with you 100% because when I did my search to try to find a company like EAssist, without giving too much detail, I came across the first search on Google at the time, and I made that phone call because I was desperate. I was getting really busy, a lot of things going on, and I really needed this. And that first company just didn't appeal because of the first contact that I had. And then I found my second search, and that was EAssist. And I was so happy because of the person that I met on the phone. Her name was Michelle, Michelle with one L. And she was so wonderful. And, I talked to her at the office as I was wrapping it up, closing the doors. I got in my car and I drove all the way home. It's about a 20-minute drive home. I live in North Carolina in the Raleigh area. And I went all the way home. And when I got home, I still had Michelle on the line. And she just gave me so much information that the next day, my wife had no clue of what I was trying to do. And I said, Jane, I just found the company. And she trusts me. She trusts all my decision making with the business. And the rest was history. So my next question, Lorena, is that you assist with, posting insurance, patient payments, adjustments, all the open claims that you handle. What would you tell our audience out there about the most rewarding part of your job?
The most rewarding part is, Andre, really meeting all these people in the different offices. Sometimes it is just like being there. And I love helping people. I love it. So I love the fact that sometimes the rewarding part is when we receive that general email within the company saying, "Oh, this office is thanking us. They're so grateful for having contracted EAssist. They could never live without it now." That's so rewarding, and we look forward to those emails. And finding out how they are so thankful that we're there to help them out. They're not alone. If they ever have a problem, we are here to help them out. We are here if we don't have the answer, we'll most certainly search for it. They don't have to move a muscle. We are here for them to help them out.
And that is the truth, ladies and gentlemen. That is the truth, because that leads into the next question, which, in your line of work, problem solver, I think, is the key word. And this is listed in most jobs and most professions as a description of something that they want out of any employees. When I hire our dental team, what I want is just a bunch of problem solvers in the office, and of course positive people. That would probably be number 2 on my list, right? But can you share with our audience, Lorena, how you have turned an office around? You don't have to give details about the office, of course, but how you have turned, a story of failure to success, because I think that's really what the audience has been waiting to hear.
Well, Andre, I feel that any office can become successful with the right people, the right tools. I have found that every office is different, and the approach needs to be unique, different for each one. They all have different needs. Personally, I like to start by developing a relationship with my offices, with my front office team, and I like to get to know them in a professional way and know what their concerns are, how they like to work, how they like things done, and where I need to draw a line and not try to be forceful or not try to make it look like as if I am setting my own rules, making them feel as if I am dictating or telling them what or how to do things, rather than helping them, guiding them how things need to be done, and how to, understand there are guidelines not set by EAssist, but from insurance companies that we need to follow, that the office needs to follow. Most of my offices have been successful in applying these rules and guidelines after EAssist has joined their team. And in turn, this success is immediately noticeable once claims get paid within days from initial submission because of thorough notes, correct insurance information provided by the office team, etc., which is what the staff physically in the office is working on. So I would not call it my success, Andre. I would call it the entire team's success. Mm-hmm. So it's mostly the office success because they are taking what we have provided, the information we have provided, they have taken it and corrected what they need to correct in their office, and that's their success.
That's wonderful. When I'm listening to you, and I got a little bit of time to talk to you today. Usually in the office, we're talking about the process, But I will say this, that I know you now for a few months, and my team absolutely loves working with you.
Well, I love them too.
Yeah.
Feelings mutual.
Yes. At this time, anything else that you want to share with our audience? I do want to say thank you for this opportunity of those who have made this podcast possible. I want to thank Dr. Anderson, our president for the company, EAssist. He is a dentist himself, so he understands the pain that the dentists out there go through. We having to run a practice and having to worry about all of these things that you need to worry about when the office and when the practice is trying to get from point A to point B. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I'm grateful to, as I said before, I'm grateful to have found this company. I'm grateful to Dr. Anderson. And Dr. Anderson, we are delivering that message to Garcia. So I'm so happy with whoever I work with an EAssist. My team, the account managers, the account executives, the team leaders, the regional managers, everything. It's like a well-oiled machine. EAssist has just been wonderful, and I'm very grateful to be a part of it. I'm grateful to be a part of your office and all the offices that have been assigned to me. And I am also very grateful to have met all the people in EAssist, my teams. I want to just give out shout-outs to Amy Rogers, to Frankie, to Heather. There's so many people out there. Patricia, she's my original manager. Jody, so many people, Andre. I just love them. I just love my team.
I can tell. I can really tell. And the one more spotlight that, before we go, I would like to give is that when I see EAssist from being on the outside of going into, there is no contracts, they're amazing the way they do it. But when you go in, you're looking at a company that you're joining to give service to. But then when you get in, you feel that you're not a number. It's a family of people that, like you said, you guys kind of love working together and you love each other. You really care about people. And for any person that wants to work at EAssist, I would say that is the number one thing that you should be on the lookout for. For any dentist that wants to join the family for their services, I would say that's one big reason, because they treat you really like family.
Correct. Exactly.
At this time, I just want to say goodbye. I want to thank you again, Lorena, for taking time out of your busy work schedule. I want also thank you for the expertise of all the nuggets and pearls that you brought to our show here today. I want to thank the audience for hanging in and listening to the complete show. And I hope that you have enjoyed this podcast. And thank you to Dr. Anderson for making this podcast available and possible for us. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you, Andre.
We hope that you have enjoyed this episode of the EAssist Dental Solutions podcast. We love to put the spotlight on the individuals for their outstanding work for our clients.